Today's NFL rumors are presented by Manscaped. Get 20% off the perfect package, the Lawnmower 4.0, and all the great products over at Manscaped when you go to manscaped.com/chat. Let's chat Lamar Jackson now and his contract situation amid some speculation, assumptions, rumors, reports, whatever you want to call it, that, hey, Lamar Jackson's mom is negotiating his contract. Not the case, according to Pro Football Talk, that yes, Lamar Jackson's mother is a part of his advisors, but she is not the one negotiating and heavily involved in the contract talks between Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, Lamar has not had an NFL agent. It was not during the NFL draft process. His mom was heavily involved there. He has not had one. He's gone the Richard Sherman route in the NFL. It is a little bit unclear just how much progress has been made thus far, but it does appear that Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are in pretty good shape as it relates to their contract extension. Now, there's been some accusations from Pro Football Talk, Florio specifically, that, hey, not having an agent might cost Lamar Jackson some money on his deal. We'll know that for certain once that deal gets signed. But Lamar Jackson wasn't as good in 2020 compared to his MVP campaign in 2019, but he's still really good at this whole football thing. Even in a lesser year, yeah, the passing yardage was under 3,000, still had 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and oh, by the way, also chipped in 1,000 yards on the ground because Lamar Jackson is the best dual threat in the NFL right now. He is incredible in that area. But the question is, okay, what's this contract going to look like? Because Lamar Jackson is a bit more of a runner and less of an advanced as a thrower as the top 5 guys on this list. He's not going to get Patrick Mahomes. There's no way that's going to happen. But if you're Lamar Jackson, aren't you asking for $40 million a year plus? You have an MVP. Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. Those guys don't have MVPs. Yeah, your arc might not quite be the exact same as Josh Allen, but you have the MVP on your resume. The Ravens' offense is so much better with you at the helm than it was with Joe Flacco, and you're a big reason for that. So I would bet Lamar approaches, if not exceeds, that $40 million per year price tag. I don't know if the guaranteed money, however, will be the same. And this might be where you see Florio's prediction of, hey, the agent will come back, or lack of an agent will come back to haunt him. That might be the main area where things end up looking a little bit different for Lamar Jackson. The Dak Prescott guaranteed money, leverage was a huge thing there. But I do think he'll surpass $110 million guaranteed. A lot of it, I think, comes down to what order these quarterbacks end up signing. Of course, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, all part of the same NFL draft class, all due for big-time deals as their rookie contracts begin to expire. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, by the way, also could have some new deals done in the not-too-distant future. So make your predictions for me. Who ends up getting paid first? Type LJ for Lamar Jackson. Type BM for Baker Mayfield. Yes, you can type in BM. Or type in JA for Josh Allen. Get your predictions in the comment section right now. Let's hit Jamal Adams' contract then. Now, this one you guys might not like it so much. So Bucky Brooks in his column said, hey, Jamal Adams, he could get $20 million per year. And that's a lot of money, especially compared to the safety market as it sits right now. But Brooks made the argument, hey, Adams is he's a pass rusher, right? 20% of the time he blitzes. Like, that's his main area. 9.5 sacks last year. You got to pay him as a pass rusher, right? Maybe. Now, I will make note, background-wise here, there was a report from ESPN out of New York that Jamal Adams had wanted $20 million a year from the Jets before he got traded. Now, Adams, can't rejected that. Said, no, that's not true. It's not what we said. And that never really came up again, and it might have been Adams trying to get his way out, or maybe it was the Jets leaking it to make Adams look bad or whatever. $20 million a year, though, is vastly more than any safety or even inside linebacker makes right now in the NFL. Now, Adams last year wasn't great in coverage, but as Brooks kind of mentioned, he was great in the box as a blitzer. 11 tackles for loss, 9.5 sacks. As a almost a defensive athlete, a defensive chess piece, if you will. Adams' impact was very clear and very obvious. Now, make no mistake, you do want more in coverage from Jamal Adams. He was not great in that area. Now, he was battling through a lot of injuries. I think going side to side was tougher on him than just going north-south as a blitzer. And that led to, again, a lack of interceptions, limited pass breakups. But you know what? The lack of interceptions and arguably being better in the box has not limited players from getting paid in the past, at least at the safety position. So for Adams, look, maybe he held out, maybe he didn't from minicamp, doesn't matter that much. I think Seattle's going to pay him. I would be stunned if we got to, let's just say, week 1 of the preseason, and there was no deal yet for Jamal Adams. The question, though, is just how much is he going to make? The safety market has gone up in recent years. Justin Simmons, after getting franchise tagged, is now the highest paid safety in the NFL with his long-term deal from the Denver Broncos, $15.25 million. Budda Baker, $14.75, also not an interception guy, at least wasn't previously. But $15.25 from $14.75, that jump is not remotely similar to $20 million a year. At his core, Adams is still designated as a safety, even if he's an off-ball linebacker in the Bobby Wagner mold. It's not $20 million per year. It would be a substantial increase for Jamal Adams, and also might have to come on more of a 5 or 6 year deal, the same deal that got Landon Collins at the time record-setting contract. Now, in terms of the highest paid defenders overall, there is a very common trend. Outside of one of the top 10, they're pass rushers. Joey Bosa, Myles Garrett, record-setting deals. They signed early with time left on their contracts, so ignore it to an extent. It's heavily backloaded. It's not that bad for those teams. It'll look fine, and, by the time they reach those average per years, they're not going to be really the number one highest paid guys anymore. Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald, they're all awesome players. DeMarcus Lawrence, probably a bit overpaid there for the Cowboys, $21 million. Same number as DeForest Buckner. Remember, he was traded from the Niners to the Colts, got a big-time contract. Leonard Williams eventually got a big-time contract. Frank Clark got his. Also, look, there's a trend here, right? Buckner, Williams, Clark, Ramsey were actually all traded at one point. They're not on the original team that drafted them. Chris Jones is not at $20 million per year. So what do you think? Do you think Adams is worth $20 million per year? Get your votes in for me right now in the comments section. Type in Y for yes, or if you're like, man, that's a little bit too much, type in N for no. NFL Daily is made possible today by Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping on the perfect package. It includes the brand new Lawnmower 4.0. So get 20% off and that free shipping when you go to manscaped.com/chat. You can use promo code chat as well, but it should be automatically applied at checkout. So instead of paying $110, get it for under $88, $87.99. Comes with the most comfortable boxers known to man, the new Lawnmower 4.0, and some extra goodies as well to help you feel better and a little bit fresher downstairs. Manscaped.com/chat. A clickable link will be in the comments section and in the description. Let's talk New Orleans Saints now. Is Jameis Winston the favorite to start for this organization? I think, yeah, probably. ESPN's Mike Triplett said that's the case right now, in large part because Winston is younger and has more what I am calling perceived upside as a result of being the former number 1 overall pick. Yes, folks, Winston is still younger by several years than Taysom Hill, who Sean Payton, for whatever reason, just absolutely loves. Here's what ESPN's Mike Triplett wrote about the Saints in this quarterback competition. Jameis or Taysom? The Saints will have a new starting quarterback for the first time in 16 years, and both candidates have a lot to prove if they want to earn the gig. Winston, 27, feels like the front-runner since he's younger with the ceiling of a former number 1 overall pick. But he obviously has some of the turnover and accuracy issues that doomed him in Tampa. Now, I actually disagree with one more nitpicky thing from that statement what Triplett wrote about the number 1 unanswered question for the Saints this offseason. It's less of an accuracy issue for Winston and more of a decision-making issue. Winston thinks he can hit every single throw no matter what the coverage is, and that got him into trouble a lot with Tampa. But I do think that Winston should be viewed as the front runner for this quarterback job right now. It's a two-man race. Trevor Siemian might not even make the roster. Ian Book is probably a career backup in reality. It's Taysom Hill who allows you to run all this different fun stuff because he can do special teams and punts and kick returns, and he can be a tight end and a running back and a wildcat. All those things, however, at least a lot of them, go away if he's your starting quarterback, because your starting quarterback can't get hurt. You can't be putting your starting QB on punt gunner coverage. That's not a thing, or at least coverage special teams. Like, that's not a thing the Saints can do. Now, Winston, well, he's Jameis Winston, right? Like, he is just an absolutely crazy player at time. Like, this is not someone that has been a reliable, steady player. He's been just frustratingly inconsistent. Like, that is what he's been over his NFL career. For the Bucs in 2019, 5,000 yards, 32 touchdowns, also 30 interceptions. His quarterback rating was 84.3. Like, it's just not great. He's never taken the step forward beyond the maddening inconsistency. Taysom Hill, meanwhile, his completion percentage, it looks pretty good. And I'll say 72.7 looks great, right? Well, once you actually watch the games, you realize, wow, this dude's arm is not good. Like, he cannot go deep downfield. His average to target was not that high, and when they were moonshots more or less. He's not someone that I believe is going to be a true starting quarterback in the NFL. Gadget player? Absolutely. Rushing ability? Absolutely. But of the two guys, look, I'm going Jameis Winston. I would much rather see Winston out there, see if he can be your franchise quarterback, than to see what Taysom Hill is. Like, guys, Taysom Hill turns 31 before week 1. That's old. That's Brandon Whedon, my man. So I would rather see Jameis Winston. I want to see what he can do as a starting quarterback with Sean Payton. Might not be good enough, but then you find that guy in the draft because it's not Taysom Hill. So who do you think starts then? Get your votes, your predictions in for me right now in the comments section. Type JW for Jameis Winston or type in Taysom Hill. That's TH. THJW. Get your votes in right now. Let's chat Minnesota Vikings now. Everson Griffen, could he return to Minnesota? The report, according to the Vikings play-by-play guy Paul Allen, is that Griffen texted him and said he wants to go back to Minnesota. Now, the number one problem here is that Griffen may or may not have burned some bridges last year, which we'll get into here in just a second. The Vikings have some young but pretty darn unproven defensive end options. Now, in 2020, as a member of both the Dallas Cowboys and the Detroit Lions, Griffen wasn't great, at least not as good as he was in the past. 8 tackles for loss, 6 sacks. It's not bad by any means, although the run defense was, especially for the Dallas, it was rough, but not all his fault, right? 2019, last time we saw him with Minnesota, 11 tackles for loss and 8 sacks. Now, I think all Vikings fans would agree with me. Outside of Danielle Hunter, if the number 2 edge for Minnesota got 8 sacks this year, even 7 sacks this year, that'd be pretty good after what was the pass rush last year, if you can even call it a pass rush. Now, Minnesota did throw some options here at this depth chart, right? Of course, Danielle Hunter's back for at least one more year. They also brought in Stephen Weatherly over from the Carolina Panthers, another kind of sort of homecoming there. There are also a ton of younger options right now on this roster. A lot of 3rd or 4th round picks. Patrick Jones was a 3rd round pick. Jalen Holmes, DJ Wonham, Janarius Robinson were all 4th round picks. Kenny Willicus was a 7th round pick. So that's a lot of young guys that Minnesota doesn't want to cut. They don't want to dump any of those players. That's 6 bodies already at defensive end. Now, they might not be as good as prime Everson Griffen, but there is a numbers game right there that the Vikings are juggling. Now, injuries happen. That might change pretty substantially, but I get why Griffen wants to go back with Minnesota. There's also this part, the issues that Griffen may have caused. Here's what Griffen tweeted out in January of this year. Kirk Cousins' ass, thank you, in reference to the whole extension there, asked Zimmer if he wanted Kirk. He will tell you the truth. Who wanted Kirk Cousins? Take your guess. Now, Griffen later deleted these tweets because, he deleted them, right? And in a text to Paul Allen, allegedly, of course, the Vikings play-by-play guy, here's what Griffen said. I never should have left the Vikings. I effed up. What I tweeted was wrong. The Vikings organization took great care of me through my ups and downs, and I disrespected a lot of people. Pretty accurate on that front. So Vikings fans or anyone watching, let me know what you guys think. Should Minnesota bring back Everson Griffen? Type S for sign or type L for nah, you don't want him. Keep him away in the end.